What's going on, guys? My name is iMissTooMuch, and today we're going to be taking a look at Gray Hack by Loading Home. And this is a hacking simulator kind of like Hacking Simulator 2016 or the original Dark Science Online and Hack Me, which I did a review of a little while ago on my channel. But I really enjoy these games, and so when I saw this game come out, I decided, hey, I have to cover this. So we're going to start off by playing in single player, but just really quick, just for the graphic settings. I know some people are interested in that. You have a window mode, screen resolution, nothing too major because it's a really simple game. So we're gonna go ahead and go in here, and you get this cool like kind of kernel loading screen thing that pops up in a lot of computers, which I really enjoy just because it's a nice aesthetic. And I've played this game a little bit, and there's really no way I can delete my saves, so what we're going to do is re-step through the first part of the game. So you start out in all this, and you don't have an internet connection, and this is actually where I guess the puzzle portion of the game starts. So you have like 3 things up here that you can go to, and I already have the password for this, but we're going to go ahead and clear it, and I'm going to do it again just to kind of show some of the features of the game. So you have this readme.txt that tells you that you basically have rented this server and you're allowed to pretty much do whatever you want on it. It's just if you get caught, they reset everything and you have to start from the beginning. They give you a couple tools that you can use to get on the internet and stuff like that, and it's all cool. And we're also going to cover this thing up here, which is the help screen, and it gives you all the information for things like the terminal, traces, and a lot of the commands, which I think for new players is extremely useful to know where this is, because I mean, I've taken some networking classes and stuff in school, and I know my way around Unix and Linux just from using them for about 7 years now, and still like I do get tripped up on a couple of the commands every now and then, so it's nice to have all this stuff in one place. So we're going to go ahead and start by connecting to the internet, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to go into our terminal. We're going to go, so if we do airmon, just an example, it says we're not in monitor mode right now on our Ethernet interface. So what we have to do is airmon start eth0. I cannot type today. So you have eth0 and your monitor mode's on. It's just something that computers need. I really don't know why they included it in this game, because I don't really see that much of a use to being able to turn this on and off. It's kind of pointless in my opinion. So we're going to go to iwlist. I always forget this. I've tried to record this multiple times, and every single time I forgot to do the interface. So we're trying to connect to cell 1, and we're going to do that by going aircrack, AirPlay /1, which is going to associate us with the wireless access point, /B, and then we're going to go up here. We're going to highlight this portion, do that, /E, that is our BSSID, and then we're going to do our ESSID, which is right here, or as most people know it as the SSID. And then we're going to do eth0, and it says our association request has been successful. Now what we have to do is capture packets, which I guess this feature is kind of like Wireshark in a way, where you can like capture and read packets, but it's a lot more simplified than I guess actual hacking would be. And of course it is, because I mean, like, one, it's really hard to find out how to do a lot of the things, and a lot of it is very circumstantial. So we're just going to let this collect some packets. It says about 5,000, but I like to get it to 5,000 ACKs because I don't really know which one it was talking about. So we're going to give this one a second just to kind of work. All right, now we have 7,000 ACKs, so we're going to go ahead and hit Command C to stop it from doing that. And if you do LSA to show all the stuff, you have a file.cap, and that is basically the capture of all those packets that we've searched for. So what we're going to do is click do aircrack file.cap, and sometimes it freezes, but we found the key and it's Susan, and it's pretty straightforward. I think that as far as hacking games go, from my experience, this game's a lot more hands-on, because usually like a lot of these games are a lot less technical in a way. Like, you don't really have to navigate through the file system and stuff. And of course you can use like File Explorer up here to do most of this stuff. But I mean, for the most part, I have a bunch of stuff already downloaded and taken care of. But for the most part, it's kind of technical in a way. So we're going to just kind of follow through the steps that I took to get to a decent portion of the game, and you'd go through here and hit email services and create one, but I can't because I already have an email created, which is up here. And there's a lot of emails in here, but we're going to go through this first message, which is right here. And basically what it does is it gives us our first mission into the game, and basically what he wants is this person's password for his email account. And the way we do that is by logging into his, or I guess his work's computer, and figuring that out. So what we have to do, or what I like to do, is I go through Notepad, and you need a couple different things through here. So you need his email address, his IP address, and this is just so like you really don't have to keep going back and forth to this special email every time, which makes it really nice. And this, and it likes to copy the B because I guess it's using HTML to do this, and it's copying the source instead of just the text. So what we're going to do is, this is something I like about this game. So in most games, in most hacking games, I guess, you have to like sit here and you scan the ports and stuff like that, which you can if you take this IP address. And it's actually, which I got these through the store. All you have to do is hit browser, go store, it brings it up, and you just go through here. And you have some tools that you download, but one of them is Nmap, which we use to scan the port. So we hit Nmap, and it doesn't want us to let us paste that. So 150.60.108.172, which I always forget to do this too. You do that and then do that, and it shows you that they have FTP web and SSH open, which means that if you see SSH is open and not SMTP, means you're going to have to do the mission this way, because there's actually a little bit of procedural generation with these missions, where basically the way you complete them is sort of randomized. It's not true, I guess, procedural generation, but it is pretty close. So one of the things we're going to have to do is we're going to have to find the administrator's email address, because of something that I think is pretty cool about this game. So we're going to do who is 150.60.108.172, and I copied it wrong. And you see that it is this email address, and we're just going to copy this, put it into here. And this is one of the things now it does it. Now it does it. Yeah, it's not gonna let me copy and paste. So we're just gonna santi at ecis.com, and then you get to go in here, and it will say like this, and it says like, "Hi, I'm the administrator. There's a problem. Can you send me your email, or send me your password?" Or you can say like, "I don't know what to do because I lost my email," or not email, or password, or something like that, and they'll send you the password. But we go through here and we fill in our name and these little blanks right here. We hit send, and then we get an email back, and it says, "Hey, everything seems to be correct, but here's your password." And so we go in here, do this, and then we're going to SSH into the company. And the usage for that, if you ever just like don't know how to use something, you just put the raw command in, and it'll tell you like the proper usage. So we're going to do SSH Bergerson at his password, and then we're going to go 150.60.108.172, and that will put us into the server. And then if we do PS, because if you see somebody in here, you have to leave because they'll start an active trace. Now, right now there's nobody in here, which is lucky for us, because I actually had a lot of issues getting through this. I guess the first time I got it, because there was somebody online, and I would always get captured before I could actually get anything done. So basically what we're going to do is steal the password for sudo, which we're going to do that by going cd/ to take us to the root. Then we're going to do cd var, which takes us to the system log, and we're going to go back because we're going to need that in a second as well. I just forgot that these are stored in etc. So we're going to do ls password, and now what you would do is you do scp.d password to download it. It would put it into your wherever SSH is saved, and the dude gave us a little thing called the cipher in the email. He attached it to it and he put it in here, so we'd have to run it through that to get the password for sudo. But I already know the sudo password is wolf, so we don't have to actually do that. So we're gonna do that, go back, and then we're gonna need that in a second. But we're just also going to go to home, I don't think this accepts like multiple things, or I'm just dumb. And you see that there is something called config. I am not typing right today. And you would just download the mail.txt and then run it through the same thing, and it would give you the password that you need. But the problem with that is that somebody gets online, they'll start a passive trace, which we would just do scpd.txt, but we already have the file. So we're just going to go back to / and then cd var, and then we're going to go sudo rm system.log, and it's going to ask us the password for sudo, and then it's deleted. And at this point I just exit out, because I think if you hit exit it tells them that you did that. So now we have all the information we need, and then we just go back to this dude, and then we just tell them the password. I forget what the password actually was. Yeah, I don't remember what the password was. So we're just gonna I'll actually show you how to do the decipher thing. So and then it will take a minute to load, so we just get to let it do that for just a second. Alright, the password is Samuel, so we just message him if it's gonna let me, and then we just send it, and he says like, good job. If you want to work with me more, go to this address. And this is as far as I got. So overall, I think that a lot of the puzzles are a little bit more technical with stuff like this, because you have to know how to navigate through the systems. You have to kind of know where certain things are stored, because I mean, I have looked through a lot of this, so I know where like some things are stored, or like generally where, and I can get around it a lot easier. But I think if you're not really like a technical computer person, this game might be a little bit off-putting, just because I mean, like if you look at games like Hack Me or Dark Science, stuff like that, there's a lot of GUIs that help you with stuff like this. So like when you do like nmap 108.172, like it sits there and it does that. But, and I know like at least in Dark Science it had like this giant interface that sit there and like it would show you scanning things and crazy stuff like that, which, you know, it was a lot of just clicking and knowing kind of how to do a puzzle in general. Like you really didn't need to know how computers work to take care of any of that, and it walked you through it pretty well. But this game kind of just says like, here is everything, go figure it out in a way. And so I think that if you want to consider this game to be like a good early access game or a good full game when it comes out, you're going to really need to bridge that gap between technical users that understand things like that, and people that just don't really, know that much about it. Because, I mean, if I didn't really mess with computers, I would just probably play it for like 10 minutes and get confused. And I've seen through like the discussion threads on Steam that a lot of people have been kind of having issues with a lot of these things. So I think it would be good to somehow bridge that gap between, like, I've thought about doing tutorials for this game, but just in general, maybe making some sort of tutorial, maybe having them step you through one of the missions or something like that, just to get your bearings straight and to know kind of what to look for would be a really good idea. But overall, I think the game is really good. I mean, it's not nearly as complete as I would like it to be, because, I mean, like, if you go to the browser, there's usually, like, people's websites and stuff that they put up in other games and things like that, but there's really nothing else besides that. Like, you have a bank that you can also make. And you can transfer money into, and that's pretty cool. But I don't know, I feel like there's like more missions, more features, more pretty much everything in the other games like this. So, but then again, the game's also been out less than a week, so I really can't knock it for not having everything right now. But I think, if you're not really interested in the game now, even if you are willing to learn a lot of the stuff about it, it's not that hard. Like, I know I've kind of sounded like, oh, it's like this super complicated stuff, but learning how to use like terminal isn't really that hard, especially when you have this thing that pretty much steps you through anything that you would need. But if that kind of stuff interests you and you're not really put off by that, I would say you might still want to wait a little bit. I think that the game is a really good start, but as far as, a fully complete game, you're probably going to have to wait a couple months for a lot more features to be added. But one of the good things I think about this iteration of hacking simulators is that they're adding dedicated servers, because some of the previous ones had problems where, like, they would run the server for a while and it'd be fun and everybody would love it, but I guess, like, it didn't make any money, so the owner would just be like, hey, I can't really run this anymore, and then the entire game would die. It happened with Dark Signs, it happened with Hacking Simulator. There's another game floating around for a while that I played, also had the same thing happen to it, and it's just kind of a common thing with the Hacking Simulator. So I think if they add the features that everybody likes from this game into this game, and then they also put dedicated servers out so it could actually survive for a long period of time, say like the developers walk away and say, hey, we don't really want to do this anymore, at least we'd still be able to play it, and the people that actually do enjoy it will still be able to play it. So my final verdict is probably just wait a while. I'm still probably going to recommend it on Steam, just because I really don't like killing a game's ratings over just on incomplete features, because it's not really like I don't recommend the game as a concept. I don't recommend it as a product right now, which is arguably probably what Steam is for, but I also just don't want a game to be considered like bad early on and like have it tainted with these bad reviews because it's not in its working state, because it is an early access game. And so obviously they're going to have something wrong with it. But I think within a couple months of development, this game will look a lot better, and I'll probably cover it again later on, because I know I started up this little series where I look at early access games and go into the future, and I'm about to do the Planet Nomads follow-up after. It's been quite a while, but I've been waiting for it to get to a point where I feel like, okay, like this is good enough to start talking about again. So other than that, yeah, if this really interests you, I'd say go ahead and pick it up. It's like 10% off on Steam right now. But, I mean, for the most part, probably just want to wait a while. So, thank you guys for watching. This has been iMissTooMuch. Peace.